Hi, thanks for spending some time with me again today. If you've been watching my channel on a regular basis, you know I put out about 3 a week. That's a lot of work, and not too many people are watching them. Thank you for all of your positive comments, those of you who have let me know that you appreciate what I'm doing here. If you're new to the game, there's a lot of material available that you can kind of explore. So my point, I suppose, in doing the channel was to create like a reference library that you can go to anytime you want. But I realized that the way things work in today's world is yesterday's news is old news, and you want something new. However, I'm not going to do something new. I'm going to come back to the fundamental things of trumpet playing, and for me, one of those main things is flexibility. So we're looking at the OST 21 Lip Flexibilities Volume 1. This is number 21. And I decided to play on my flugelhorn today because I need to stay kind of connected to the various instruments that I play. I might pick up a cornet or my D trumpet or whatever. Now I realize that some of you only have one instrument, and that actually makes your life a lot easier. You get used to it, you're making music on it, your body starts to figure it out, and you have a certain amount of freedom. Doing this kind of keeps you on your toes. So I'm going to play number 12, and I'm going to pick a moderate tempo. I think the tempo that's marked is pretty quick, and that's one of the things that I want to point out today is what happens when we try and do these flexibility things faster. It's very interesting, at least to me. So here we go. Ooh, that feels interesting on flugelhorn. It feels easier to me to play smoothly on the flugelhorn than it does on the trumpet. I'm going to pick up my C trumpet and try that, just to see what happens. Oop, horn's cold. For those of you with perfect pitch, please forgive me. I'll do what I can. So that's one of the things I do to kind of keep me on my toes. Now I mentioned, I've done quite a few episodes on these lip flexibilities, and something I mentioned in those videos, and also the ones on the Bourdonnier. I think I have like 46 on the Bourdonnier etudes, the Melodious Etudes for Trumpet book, is that you should also articulate. So once you get the flexibility down where you're very, very stable, then I add articulation. Now I'm not ready to do that yet because he has a tempo marked 116 to 126. So, Mr. Ost, being a trumpet player, knows exactly what the problems are for trumpet players. That's why these exercises are so useful for us. A lot of times I use these to warm up. So it's late in the day. I haven't played for quite a few hours, but it feels really good to kind of get back into the flow, the keyword, of these little etudes. Here's the tempo. So that's quite a bit faster than what I just played. I'm gonna try it and see how skittery I get. Well, maybe I'll go back to the flugelhorn. Okay. So a little bit off balance. Mostly that's concentration. When I was working with Mr. Herseth, he said, I don't make physical mistakes anymore. I only make mental mistakes. I can't say that I'm there, but most of the mistakes I do make are mental mistakes. In other words, if you get to the point in your playing where you've been playing for so many years and you're so, you can maintain your balance so well that really the only problem is when you're not being intentional. You're not hearing the music correctly, or you lose your concentration and get distracted by something. So I'm gonna work on a couple of spots that'll give some people issues. Starting at bar 10, the intervals start to get a little bit wider. So let me just start right there. Actually, I'll start on bar 9. I just used a practice technique that I mentioned a lot, and I wanted to explain what was happening in my mind when I did that. I could feel I was a little bit tight, and I wanted to get back into balance, so I kept on trying to relax, let the air flow, not manipulate each note with my lip, just get as stable and smooth as possible. Great, that's what we all want, or should want. But the way I test this is I'll just sustain a note. And if I can make any adjustment on that note to feel more balanced, that means that I wasn't balanced when I got to the note. So what we're doing, the important thing to realize about these, especially when we're going faster, is you have to hear and feel, anticipate where you're going to without getting ahead of yourself. It's a little bit like driving, riding your bike. You see where you want to go, and you've trained yourself so that your body automatically goes there, but you're actually seeing ahead of where you want to go. But you don't look too far ahead, or you kind of lose track of what's going on around you. So it's like riding a wave, kind of. And this part of it's visual, and part of it is just being able to hear and feel that forward movement that's going on. So when I sustain the note, now I made a little correction when I got to the G, and this is what I want to suggest that you do. There are lots of ways to do it, and you can be paying attention to quite a few different things. You want to make it as simple as possible. So let's say you're just focusing on the sound. I don't know how well this will come across in the recording, but now I'm in the right position. I'm in the right spot so that I'm exactly in the right place in the center of the note when I get to the note. If you don't do this, if you don't refine this skill, improve the precision of your movement, and maintain as close to being balanced as possible, what happens is you start to get physically tighter. And this is what contributes to most people's problems with endurance and just basic playing skill. Once we feel like we're fighting a little bit, then that has kind of a cascade effect and we start getting tighter and tighter. It's usually very gradual, so we don't notice it, but anybody who's played etudes recognizes this fact, because we start out, we're feeling pretty good, like how things are sounding, have a sense of control, and by the time maybe we get a third or 2/3 of the way or almost to the end of an etude, now we have a problem. So this is one of the main issues. How do you develop it? Well, that's kind of in the how-to section. I'm still working on that because there are a lot of things that go into it. But the simplest thing you can do is just give yourself time. So playing slower is one way to do it. But when I'm working on a faster tempo, I want to push myself a little bit to see if I can maintain my balance even when it feels a little bit risky, a little bit slippery. And if I'm fighting, and if I notice I'm starting to tighten up, my throat maybe is tightening up, I can feel myself tightening with the breath, maybe a little bit of extra mouthpiece pressure. You have to become aware of those things so that you realize, oh, my body is reacting because I have that sense of lack of control. So here's one of the ways that I push it. And I'm going to be talking about this quite a bit on these etudes because I think it's a good practice technique. I stabilize. Yeah, see, I'm thinking about D, diggity, diggity. It's not working very well. So now I want to stabilize on the lower note. Now I'm going actually twice as fast, a lot faster. Let's say that. Dum, digga dum, digga din, digga din. So now what I'm doing is I'm pushing the boundaries of the tempo, but I'm not trying to do it with the same eighth note speed all the way through. And that gives me a little resting point. So this is just like physical training, like weight training, where there's an overload principle involved. What I'm doing is I'm overloading myself to play quickly, and then I have a chance to rest and see if I'm still in balance. If I'm in balance, then I can go ahead. If I'm not, I take a little time and rebalance. So what's interesting about this is when you do it, and you can do this with any passage, especially passages like this, like these exercises, or the Clark studies, for example, where you have consistent, simple pattern that's moving ahead in a steady tempo. You can change the tempo, the time, in order to challenge yourself a little bit. You can also change where you feel the beat. Now I'll show you what I mean. The first note is a pickup. So it's ya-dee-da-dee, da-dee-da-dee, da-dee-da-dee, da-dee-dee, da-dee-da-dee-dee-dee. So we naturally feel weight on the first note. What's the first note? Well, it turns out it's a scale. So if I just play the first note of the triplet groups, see, that's it's a beautiful little melody. But we're kind of busy trying to play all the notes, especially at that faster tempo, right? So now I'm going to change it. Instead of thinking da-dee, da-dee, now I'm going to just concentrate on the lower note. And guess what's happening? The lower note for the first 4 bars is the same note. So basically what I'm doing in this case is I'm sustaining the E. So I'm feeling da-dee-da. The E now becomes the downbeat. And that gives me time to stabilize. I can taste and hear, I can taste the feeling and hear whether that E is in tune and whether I'm physically relaxed, whether the tone is fully free or whether I'm starting to squeeze on it. And I'm going to exaggerate it grossly so that you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about. So what you're looking for is the greatest freedom of resonance you can get without losing the focus, the containment of the note, the dimensional quality of the note. And that's when you find that, you're trying to stay there. And that's basically what all these flexibility exercises are. And that, even though it's a challenging thing to do physically on the trumpet, or the flugelhorn for that matter, it's the basis of most of our playing. It's the foundation stone of everything that we do. And that's why I work on flexibility stuff so much. If I can move around the horn, if I can change dynamics, if I can articulate and maintain that free resonance all the time, now there's a real level of quality that's starting to come into my playing. So I hope that gives you some ideas. You'll hear these ideas repeated. There are only so many ideas in the world. And I'll repeat the ones that I think are the most valuable as we go forward. Thanks for tuning in today, and I hope you have fun with some of this stuff in your practice. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.